The angels are asking you to pay close attention because they want to explain why your past love lost control in front of your friends. What happened may have shocked you and everyone else, but it was not random. It was not just a burst of emotion without reason. It was the result of years of buried pain, regret, longing, and unspoken words that finally had no more room to stay hidden. The angels want you to understand this clearly. What happened was not madness, but a divine release. Your past love has been carrying deep wounds for a long time. They buried these wounds under pride, under excuses, under the image of being fine, and under the belief that they had moved on. But the truth is that they never really healed. Inside, there has been a constant battle between the different versions of themselves. The one they show to the world, the one they were when they were with you, and the one they wish they could become but do not know how to reach. That battle has been tearing them apart quietly, and in your presence, it could no longer be contained. Last night, when they were surrounded by friends, what was supposed to be a light-hearted evening turned into an eruption. People expected laughter, conversation, and joy, but instead, they witnessed a soul cracking open. It may have looked like chaos, maybe even embarrassment, but in reality, it was truth breaking free. The angels say that when the heart is too full of unsaid truth, it eventually explodes. And that is exactly what happened. The trigger was not just the environment or a casual word. It was the combination of your presence, the energy of shared memories, and the pressure of their own guilt and regret. Your energy carries echoes of what you two once shared, echoes of love, of connection, of unfinished business. And when that energy was felt in a room filled with people who may still remember the bond you had, the mask they had been wearing broke apart. They could no longer pretend to be composed. They could no longer act like they were unaffected. The words that spilled out of them were not rehearsed or planned. They came raw, unfiltered, and straight from the place of pain and longing they had been hiding. Perhaps they admitted a regret. Perhaps they confessed that they never truly got over you. Perhaps they said something about their past love, maybe even naming you. Maybe not. But everyone in the room felt the weight of it. What shocked your friends was not just how strongly they spoke, but the truth that came out in that moment. This was not about drama. This was not about trying to embarrass you or themselves. This was about truth demanding to be heard. It was about a soul finally admitting, even if clumsily, that it is not as healed as it has been pretending to be. The angels say that your past love's outburst was actually a kind of awakening. For the first time, they allowed the truth to rise to the surface, even if it came out messy. And the mess you saw was healing in motion. They have been carrying guilt, regret, and longing that they could never admit to anyone, not even to themselves. But being in your presence and seeing you radiant, steady, and glowing without them broke them open. It reminded them of who they once were when they were with you and how far they have fallen from that version of themselves. It reminded them that once they were the reason for your smile, your laughter, and your light. And now they were on the outside looking in. That realization was too heavy for them to bear silently, so their soul forced the words out. The angels want you to know this. What happened was not about disrespect toward you. It was not about hurting you. It was a spiritual combustion, a release of what they never had the courage to say before. Truth is messy, but it is also holy. It clears illusions, pierces the fog and opens the space for healing. That is what last night was about. Truth finally demanding space. Your role in this is not to carry their chaos. You are not responsible for their healing. What you are asked to do is to see this from a higher perspective. Do not look at it as embarrassment or drama. See it as a moment when truth could no longer be denied. See it as confirmation of what your soul always knew, that your connection was not something they easily forgot, no matter how much they tried to act like they did. The angels know you have been replaying the moment in your heart. You have wondered why something so lighthearted suddenly turned so heavy. But they want you to know that your past love's soul simply could not keep its silence any longer. The environment of friends, memories, and shared laughter did not cause the outburst. It unlocked it. The gathering became a mirror that reflected back to them all that they had lost and all that they still feel. When they laughed, joked, and tried to act normal, inside they were breaking. Because joy that no longer belongs to you is one of the heaviest burdens a soul can carry. They were overwhelmed by memories, by longing, by the sight of you being okay without them. And when the pressure became too much, they cracked open. What they said next shocked everyone. But it was not manipulation. It was not performance. It was their soul grieving out loud. The walls they had built crumbled in front of people who least expected it. And though it may have felt like chaos, it was actually the truth breaking free. The angels say this: your past love's breakdown was not weakness. It was an admission, a confession, a surrender. It was the soul's way of saying, I am not over this. I am still haunted. I am still longing. Whether or not they ever admitted again directly to you, what they said last night was real. And for you, dear child, this was closure. You do not need to fight to be understood anymore. You do not need to prove that what you felt was real. Their words confirmed it. Their breakdown proved it. You were never imagining their silence, their avoidance, or their distance. It was never because you were wrong. It was because they were avoiding the truth. And now, that truth has finally been spoken. The angels are asking you to move forward with wisdom. Do not react with hurt. Do not carry their guilt. Simply see it as what it was: a soul crying out for redemption, for healing, and for understanding. You have already healed more than they have. You have already grown stronger. And now the universe has given you confirmation that the truth has always been on your side. This moment is not the end. It is a beginning of healing, of clarity, and of release. Whether or not your paths cross again, the truth has been freed. And once spoken, truth cannot be buried again. So walk forward now with lighter steps. The angels are wrapping you in their love and reminding you that you are not defined by their chaos. You are defined by your strength, your healing, and your ability to see through the mess into the truth. Their soul may still be at war, but yours is finding peace. Life has a way of bringing us moments we do not expect, moments that shake the walls people spend years building around their emotions. The angels want you to know that what happened last night was one of those rare moments. Someone from your past, someone who often tried to appear unaffected and in control, suddenly allowed a piece of their hidden truth to break through. For so long, this person kept their emotions tightly guarded, carrying their feelings quietly, trying to appear strong and untouched by what once happened between you. But last night, in front of others, Their heart could no longer remain silent. Their words were not part of a plan, not meant to perform or impress. It was not about trying to win you back. It was surrender, not to weakness, but to truth. Their soul, which had carried unresolved love for so long, finally let it spill into the open. The angels saw how their words may have surprised you, maybe even left you in a storm of mixed emotions. Part of you may have felt vindicated, because deep down you always wondered whether what you once shared truly mattered. Part of you may have felt confused, because hearing their raw honesty may have stirred memories you thought were already settled. But the angels want you to hold on to one clear truth. You were never forgettable. You were never just a phase in their life. You were, and still are, the spark that awakened something sacred within them that no one else has been able to touch since. That is why their confession mattered so much. It was not simply words thrown into the air. It was their soul admitting that losing you was not just losing a lover. It was losing the mirror to their truest self. When you were with them in the past, you did more than love them. You saw them. You saw their light, their fire, their dreams, even when they did not fully believe in themselves. You awakened in them a version of themselves they could not find on their own. And when they saw you again, standing strong, independent, radiant in your own light, that part of them remembered. It began to ache, not just for you as a person, but for the version of themselves that only bloomed when they were loved by you. That is why their words last night felt so powerful. They came from a place of longing for that realness, for the depth of emotion that was once alive between you. The angels are showing you that what was spoken last night carried the energy of youth, of passion, of emotion unpolished by logic. Their confession was impulsive, yes, but it was also genuine. It came from a wave of memory and truth that could no longer be hidden. Even if they tried afterward to laugh it off, to change the subject, or to cover their vulnerability, the truth still stands. What they said was authentic. It was their heart whispering through the crack in their carefully built armor. It was spirit overriding ego. And that is why it left everyone stunned. People who thought they knew them, people who had only ever seen their controlled, guarded side, were shaken because they witnessed something real, something holy. You, dear one, may still be processing it all. Perhaps you are asking yourself what it means, whether it changes anything, whether you should respond or stay silent. The angels want you to understand that you are not being asked to go back, to rekindle what once was, or to reopen wounds. You are being given clarity. For so long you wondered if your love ever truly mattered, if they carried you in their heart the way you carried them in yours. And last night, the universe answered in the clearest way possible. Yes, it mattered. Yes, it was real. Yes, it still lives inside them. That was not chaos. It was revelation. Think about how long they tried to hide it. This is a person who rarely lets their emotions show, who has spent years burying their true feelings beneath layers of logic, pride, and fear. They have built a life around pretending to be okay, around convincing themselves they had moved on. But love, real love, does not simply disappear because it is silenced. It remains, stored safely in the heart, waiting for the day it can finally breathe again. Last night was that day. In your presence, in the sound of your voice, in the way you existed so freely and authentically, their heart remembered. and that remembrance was too powerful to contain. Their silence, which had lasted so long, finally broke. The angels want you to see the beauty in this. What happened was not about drama. It was about healing. Their soul has been carrying the weight of unresolved love. And when they confessed what they did, a part of that burden was finally lifted. For them, it was the eruption of love that had been buried too long. For you, it was confirmation. Confirmation that your love was never wasted. Confirmation that you were not forgotten. Confirmation that what you felt was as real for them as it was for you. And now you can walk forward with grace, knowing that the silence has been broken and the truth has been spoken. This does not mean you must go back to them. In fact, the angels remind you that you are no longer who you were back then. You are stronger now, more radiant, more anchored in your own worth. You have grown through the pain, through the lessons, through the waiting. Their confession is not an invitation for you to return to old fires, but a reminder of the power you carry. Your energy has always been a gift, one that awakens, transforms, and lingers long after you leave. You touched them in ways no one else has, and that imprint has never faded. What you witnessed last night was love in its purest form, uncontrolled, unpolished, unstoppable. It was the kind of love that even the person feeling it could not fully manage. And that is why the room fell silent. That is why others were stunned. Because truth carries a sacred weight. When it finally breaks free, it demands to be heard. Their words were not planned, not rehearsed. They were sacred. They were real. The angels want you to hold this message with tenderness. Let it remind you of your light, of your impact, of the sacred role you played in someone's soul journey. You are unforgettable, and their confession proved it. Not because you needed proof, but because your heart longed for confirmation. And now you have it. You no longer need to wonder. You no longer need to question whether your love mattered. The universe has spoken through their unguarded words. It mattered. It still matters. And it always will. Now, dear one, walk forward with grace. You do not need to carry their confession as a burden, but as a gift of truth, a gift of clarity, a gift of release. They may continue to struggle with their emotions. They may still try to bury them again, but you are free. You have been given the truth you once prayed for. You can hold your head high, knowing that your love was real, your impact was lasting, and your presence was unforgettable. And as you continue on your path, the angels are proud of you. They are wrapping you in their gentle light, reminding you that your energy is divine, that your worth is unshakable, and that your journey is guided. So take a deep breath, dear one. What happened was not chaos. It was revelation. It was not weakness. It was truth. You do not need to return to what once was, but you can move forward knowing that what you shared was sacred, and it still burns within them. You are unforgettable, and your angels are walking beside you, holding your heart, and reminding you that your light will always be your greatest gift.